ANC's Gwede Mantashe has testified at the Zondo Commission of Inquiry into state capture.
He said the party fully supports the inquiry and that party officials, including President Cyril Ramaphosa, will testify.
This morning, we're expecting the former Mineral Resources Minister Ngoako Ramatlhodi to testify.
Well, eNCA's Erin Bates following this inquiry very closely for us. She's back there this morning. Erin, a very good morning to you. And let's, before we get to Ngoako Ramatlhodi, a quick recap of Gwede Mantashe and what he had to say to the inquiry. I mean, we were expecting, yes, that there might be some more juicy bits, or was it rather lukewarm, according to expectations, what we got from Gwede Mantashe yesterday?
Well, in some ways, it wasn't that unexpected what he discussed. He really dealt with these meetings that the ANC held with various bank officials. I'd incorrectly said that only one bank went. In fact, only one bank didn't go to those meetings at Luthuli House. And Mantashe detailing why the ANC decided to have those meetings and saying that once they had discussions with the bankers, they were clear on why the banks had decided to close Gupta-linked accounts and they left it there. And interesting that he said at that point they decided not to have any further meetings with the banks because had they done so, this narrative of putting pressure on the banks, as he put it, would have had some substance. It would have become true. And in fact, that wasn't the case. But of course, whether or not you think the ANC was putting pressure on the banks, one banker, for example, saying in September it was the first time in decades of experience in banking he'd been hailed either by a governing party or an interministerial committee, which in fact wasn't an interministerial committee at all. It was an ad hoc committee. Mosebenzi Zwane, Mineral Resources Minister at the time, was calling bankers to discuss their relationships or broken relationships with Gupta-linked companies. And it's said by one of the bankers who testified at the commission that they felt that he was putting pressure on them to reopen Gupta-linked accounts.
Okay, now to a former cabinet minister in the person of Ngoako Ramatlhodi expected to testify. We all remember that interview that my partner Yuveka Rangappa did with him last year, where he explained the pressure he came under from the then chairperson of Eskom, Ben Gubane, to do a deal around Optimum Coal and Glencore.
Precisely, and this narrative, this issue of Optimum Coal and its acquisition by Duduzane Zuma and the Guptas through their company has been in the press in and out for the last 2 years, and in fact even before. And Ramatlhodi is expected to give some more insight into the kind of pressure he was under, including engagements he had with Duduzane Zuma over the business being put into business rescue when it was still owned by Glencore and then sold to Optimum. And interesting questions around the financing, including pledges from Eskom toward that acquisition for Optimum to buy these coal mines in Mpumalanga, amongst other places. Let's just take a look at what Ramatlhodi has previously said on Duduzane Zuma.
He said, maybe you should meet one of my partners, Ajay Gupta. I said, no, why should I meet Ajay? And he said to me, he had reported this to his father. I said, I am going to report back to your father this discussion. And I did that. I went back to the president, said to him, I've had this discussion, and I've refused to meet this guy.
And what was the president's response to that?
No, I said, it's okay, there's no problem.
And there was no further pushing you to meet the family after that, Mr. Ramatlhodi?
No.
But would you say that there were any consequences? Would you say that there was a negative impact on you doing your job thereafter when you refused to meet with the Guptas?
I leave that to public opinion.
Now, Ramatlhodi is an advisor to the current president, Cyril Ramaphosa, but he's going to talk about his time as a minister in cabinet and issues around mineral resources, issues around Optimum Coal Mine. But we shouldn't also forget about Mzwanele Manyi's concluding testimony at the inquiry yesterday morning, him saying anything untoward in terms of GCIS advertising money which had nothing to do with him. It didn't occur during his tenure at the newspaper or, in fact, GCIS. And interesting that the New Age premises are going under auction today. And we heard from our colleague Lester Kivitt in Parliament that the Special Investigating Unit is investigating the pledges of government advertising money to the New Age. So whatever Mani says, there's certainly enough curiosity around those agreements for the SIU to be investigating.
All right, certainly will be very interesting to see if if Ngoako Ramatlhodi gives the same answers or sticks to those stories over a year later after that interview.
We'll wait to hear what he's going to say. Thank you very much, Erin Bates.